Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Javed Iqbal Khokar, Professor of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology. As I am discussing the personal identity, and this is the 16th lecture of this series, and today I'll be discussing further parameters of age determination in later years, and we'll be discussing specific bones in this lecture. How sternum, mandible, skull, vertebrae, and hyoid bone help us in age determination. So these are the contents of today's talk. Age from sternum between 14 to 25 years, the four pieces of the body of sternum, they fuse with one another from below upwards. We know that the sternum has been divided into three parts: manubrium, the body, and the xiphisternum. The body has four pieces and they fuse with each other from 14 to 25 years from below upwards. You can see the four pieces of sternum which are labeled as B, which is the body, and M is the manubrium, and lower is xiphisternum, which is a cartilaginous structure. The four pieces of the sternum, you can see they have been fused, but the body has not fused with manubrium. After 25 years, the xiphoid process unites with the body at about 40 years, and the manubrium unites with the body in old age, about 60 years. This is completely fused four pieces, and the xiphisternum also start fusing. Now, age from mandible. The mandible gives very important information regarding age. The changes in the mandible, which are in relationship to the shape and its various parts, like ramus, condyloid process, and coronoid process, especially the dentition and the alveolar ridge. The muscle attachment and the position of the alveolar foramen also gives very important information. So this is the general structure of the lower mandible, where you can see the teeth, the foramen, which is the mental foramen, the mental protuberance, and the condyle, and the ramus, head of mandible, all things are visible. This is the lateral view, where the head of the mandible, the neck, the head of coronoid, andyloid process and coronoid process, the ramus, the mental foramen, all are visible. Now, the ramus in infant, it is short, oblique, and forms an obtuse angle with the body, whereas in adults it is large, vertical, and forms a right angle with the body. But in adults the size is reduced and forms an obtuse angle with the body. These are various angles which have been shown: the right angle, the straight, obtuse, and the acute angle. And the upper picture is of a child mandible, showing short ramus and short alveolar process, unformed chin, and more obtuse gonial angle. So this is the bone of a child. The lower ones, they are of the middle age or adult. You can see the foramen in the middle, and from the number of teeth you can estimate the age. Then about the mental foramen, in infants it is near the lower margin. In adults, it is midway between upper and lower border. And in old age, it is closer to the upper border because of the resorption of the bones of alveolar ridge. The foramen, mental foramen, appears closer to the upper border. And here you can see the upper one diagram showing the mental foramen at the near the lower border, which is of a child. And then in middle age, you can see the mental foramen in the middle. And in old age, due to resorption of the alveolar ridge, it is at the near the upper border. This is the bone of an adult. Mental foramen is in the middle. Then the condyle, nearly in infants, it is nearly in line with the body and not projecting above the coronoid. So condyle, that is the head, is not above the coronoid. In adult, it is enlarged and projecting above the coronoid process. In old, the relationship is different. It can be erratic relationship. Then the age from the skull suture, in the later age we can determine. The age is estimated from the closure of the skull suture, and the closure starts from the endocranial and proceeds towards the ectocranial. The absence of closure of any skull suture indicates that the age does not exceed 30 years. This is the X-ray of the skull, the metopic suture, which unites the two halves of the frontal bone. It has been fused, but the coronal suture, the sagittal suture, and the lambdoid, they are open. Now regarding the start of the union, the sagittal suture starts nearly 30 to 35 years of the age, coronal 35 to 40 years, and lambdoid 45 to 50 years. The palate suture, it is starts 45 to 50 years. The parietomastoid suture 55 to 60 years, squamous suture 55 to 60 years, sphenoparietal suture, it is much later, that is 70 years. An exception to this rule is the closure of the suture of the basilar suture. The fusion between the basio-occiput and the basisphenoid is completed by 18 to 24 years. Then the lipping of the vertebrae. The lipping of the vertebrae occurs at about age 40 years of the age. The osteocytes, they grow from the anterior and the lateral margin of the intervertebral discs. The discs undergoes atrophic changes at about 40 to 45 years. Then age from the hyoid bone, the greater corner of the hyoid bone unites with its body between 40 to 60. Thank you very much. This was age determination from various specific bones. Take care. Allah.